Not sure if I got the bathroom, but this is what it's like. Unlike what she said, it's actually shared, not with just these 3 rooms, but there's also 2 rooms over here.
There's no bathrooms.
Yeah, I looked. So these rooms also share the bathroom, and she had said that just as 2 rooms share, but it's not. So this looks like a bigger, a 5-bed. So you got a double here. Oh, it's a nice little suite. Again, no bathroom. And then you got 3 individual rooms.
There's 2 in there.
Oh, two more rooms?
Twin in there.
Oh man.
And then there. I think there's something there.
Okay, let's get out of here. A little bit about last night. Man, they got some issue about keeping your room warm. In the middle of the night, I had to get up and not only shut the little, I just had a little crack on the window. But boy, I had to put on my clothes because it was so cold. And because I said to Melissa, I said, boy, it doesn't seem like we got a whole big comforter blanket, because it was like in the 40s last night.
It was cold.
And
I was even cold. I usually sleep hot. I had to put socks on, sweatshirt. I even had my little wool thing over my head.
well, it's odd because
my blankets had fallen off.
it had a little heater, which I turned on, and I said, oh, okay, good, we got heat. And then the thing just automatically goes off, and it doesn't come back on. And I tried it in the middle of the night. So I don't quite get the pilgrims, like, I don't know, man, maybe, you know, how do I put this? There's a culture on the Camino. And well, okay, I'm gonna back up a little bit.
You keep kind of saying this.
I had an epiphany yesterday, and the epiphany was, gosh, maybe I'm the problem. Like, you almost have a...
Why is it a problem? Because you want to do something differently. That's the thing, is that it's okay to have it different. You don't have to follow the pack. You don't have to get up at 7 in the morning if you don't want to. I mean, unless you're staying at a place where you got to be out by 8, but all the places we're staying, the earliest we have to leave is by 10, sometimes noon. And there's still, it's deserted. Like, I get up to put the bag downstairs at 7:45. It's deserted. Everybody's gone.
Yeah, it's an odd. There's some type of I don't understand it. Maybe somebody can write in what the impulse is to hurry up, get up, and get down the road. Okay, it's true that some of these alberques, some of these people just buy the seed of the plants, but I think it's pretty rare, because these small towns, they fill up very quick, and you can't take the chance of arriving after you've walked 6 hours that, oh, we don't have any room, because
it's another curiosity of the Camino.
Yeah, and I don't really have a really good answer.
Up so early? And I thought, well, maybe like for a few days it was really warm. Well, maybe it's because they want to be not in the heat of the day. Well, it's cold, and it's been cold for a couple of days now, and it's even colder in the mornings. So
yeah, so I'll try to interview some
maybe
pilgrims.
Maybe they're used to it being like a job. You know, you get up early for your job and you go and.
Well, it's probably also like if you're in the main bunks, everybody makes a lot of noise. People are in there with headlamps, getting ready.
I could see that.
That I could see, because, you know,
then
it's
if
not...
everybody's gone, you could actually snag a couple of more hours of sleep.
Well, yeah, and then you don't know if the cleaning people come in, and
that's true.
You know, whatever it is. So we had, and attached, there's a culture, and attached to the room is they have a communal dinner, which is it's an interesting situation in that, I'm telling you, people are burnt out after walking for 6 hours, 5 hours, or maybe 7, 8, who knows.
We tried it last night, and they put us at a table with 2 other couples and a single woman, and as soon as we sat down, I was like, these people are not interested in talking. I mean, it was very uncomfortable. And I thought, man, everybody's tired.
Yeah.
We're all almost halfway now, and you know, and I wonder, like, are they doing it because they think that's what they're supposed to do? Well, we looked at the menu and there was no vegetarian options, and so Raymond was brave enough to just, you know, kind of be uncomfortable and say, this isn't really for us, and we just went out in the little bar area and we had our own, just ordered off the menu, had a nice salad and a vegetarian paella, and it was just the two of us. And you don't have to talk, it's just the two of you, which is nice, or you can talk if you want to.
Well, it's not cheap. I mean,
No, it's
not a
cheap.
pilgrim's.
It's not like €5 or something.
It's not the pilgrim's prices that you're getting. I mean, it's like 15 euros a person. That's 30 euros. The hotel room is like almost 70, 65.
And it included a dessert that we didn't need. You know,
Yeah, we didn't need
it's
the dessert.
Not necessary for us. And,
Yeah. So anyway, you're
but
probably
talking the group. You don't have to do that. You can just say that's not for me, or it is. And
well. I would say, certainly, if you're by yourself and you're wanting some social, and you've been on the trail and you haven't connected with anybody, it's really not such a bad thing to do. And I would say I could see myself sort of wanting to do that, and then you really have somewhat built-in companionship, so that makes sense. But boy, I tell you, there's a lot of people that are traveling with companions, with a little group. There certainly are individual people that are traveling by themselves, and there's a good percentage of women that are doing it. So anyway, getting back, so you sit down and you're basically with a bunch of strangers, and it's true, the only thing you have in common is that you're both, all of you are walking the Camino.
I just feel almost sure that I would never want to do that, even if I was traveling by myself, unless I had happened to meet a few women on the way who
were really connected.
Who we connected, and we walked the day, and we ended up staying at the same place, and you know, now we're gonna have dinner together or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
see, that would make sense. But you're just meeting just absolute strangers, and
there's language barriers.
Quite a bit of language barriers.
That adds a whole nother.
You got a Japanese. You've got some people from the Finland, from Dutch, who are Dutch, Denmark.
No, Denmark.
So that also adds. So you better have. Not you better have. It's if you are a language smith, it's a wonderful opportunity, if you will, to practice different languages. But you have to have the right languages,
you
because
gotta have some energy reserves.
Yeah,
to be
that's
able
the
to
thing.
handle that. And I mean, unless you're an extrovert or something, I don't know.
Well, so the couple that we ended up sitting the closest to at dinner were the very couple that, as soon as we arrived at the albergue and I put my bags down, they were sitting right next to us, and you know, they gave the nice pleasant smile, as I did too. But there was no. Everybody was pooped, and there was no.
Which is understandable.
Nobody wasn't into, oh, let's have a conversation.
Yes.
And now they throw you into a 3-hour dinner. It's really about a 2-hour dinner, and you're you know, there is this pressure to engage.
And not gonna just sit there. It's not a silent meal.
No, and it's the most odd thing in. It's somewhat created, I suppose, and I don't know if it's a kickback from the old days where they really did have true pilgrims. They were on the true path of martyrdom and spiritual awakening.
I would almost say that they were.
I would say
having
so.
A vow of silence and that kind of thing. I don't know. I keep saying I don't know because I don't know. You know, it's just our experience. Thoughts that come up.
Well,
you know, but I have to say, you know, so that you know a little bit about Raymond and I, we're not really the people that always follow the path that most people follow.
We didn't take the vaccine.
I mean, we're kind of independent thinking, and
well, I question.
We like to do things a little bit, you know, more the kind of artist type, and I'm more of a rule follower than Raymond is, but I like it that he pushes me to question and say, gosh, you know, I don't need to get up early. I don't need to go to and I'm getting more and more and more comfortable with that as I walk, that this is who I am, and it's okay, and that's who you are, and that's okay too.
Yeah, it's an interesting well, that epiphany, I don't want to say it's an epiphany, it was a question mark about maybe I'm the problem. And I either read
word. I don't like that word.
Yeah, I read.
It's not a problem.
I read in a psychological book many years ago about that if a human being became self-aware of their true core, they would commit suicide. and so it's the brain fools the mind into thinking you're actually okay, so that you don't. So it's almost like if you get a disease, the body goes in there to fight the disease. Well, mental things are also diseases that can lead to end of life things. So
if you're going along your way and you're stirring up trouble, that's a problem. But if you're going along your way and you're not in someone else's way, you're just doing it differently, well, that's not a problem. That's just different, right?
Well, but it can't be different. I mean, it can be a problem, because here a good example is we're at the Cathedral in Bordeaux and Burgos, and the woman, there's a couple, they had decided, even though there are 2 kiosks, that no, we're just going to make one line. And I kind of thought about it, and I thought, oh, I don't get, there's no signage. They just decided unilaterally to make that decision. And so I went into the other line, and boy, she went off. She was a real Karen on me, boy. So anyway, so it is not benign that if you do step outside of what the herd, maybe that's a part of it. Is maybe this whole thing is about like groupthink. Programs are almost set up for groupthink. Like the Camino now has got its own established, yeah, like a groupthink. And again, I don't completely
all I know is I don't want to stress on this.
Well, all I know is that
I don't want to be stressed that I have to get up, that I have to be on a certain thing, that if this is my timing.
Well, you're still who you are, and you're not going to make, I don't know, perhaps some people make a drastic shift and drastic change. I mean, I've seen some blogs, and you know, some people who are posting are just all in tears, so I don't know what that's about. But you know, I would say the reality of this is that you're just on a very, very long walk. It's well established. There's lots of places to stay. The culture is you stay in these albergues, and we did stay in an albergue, and we have a couple. And
we always had a private room, so
yeah, Melissa's always.
We haven't stayed in bunk beds.
We haven't stayed in bunk beds,
but we did.
Well, we're much better having a walk and talk in the morning than we are at the end of the day. Tends in the end of the day.
I think it's day 19.
Yeah, something like that. Our conversation kind of degrades. So, at any rate, Melissa had an interesting thing to share. About.
Well, I was thinking that, you know, sometimes you think that the thoughts that you're having are, you know, just unique to your own experience, but as I read through other blogs and things show up on my Facebook of other people doing the Camino, I read something this morning, a woman that had done the Camino Norte, and
which is where does that go?
That goes from up near San Sebastian all the way to Santiago, so it's along the coast. We did that one little section between and San Sebastian.
The short little.
Yeah, no, I mean.
Well, I guess not that short.
Just that one little. There was one little section.
Yeah.
And she said that, you know, like 75% of pilgrims at some point along the way use a taxi, a bus, a train, hitchhike, something to move them, even if it's just 10 kilometers. And so that's fair. It's okay. So many people do it.
We've done all 3, and tomorrow we're taking the train. So we're adding another.
And most of that is for 2 reasons. 1, we can't find accommodation. 2,
yeah, the accommodations.
The length between the accommodations we can find is just too much. 19 miles is too much for us. 16 and a half we did the other day, and we did pretty well, but it was fairly flat. But you know, you're wiped.
You're toast.
Yeah, and then we had a shorter day the next day, and then we had a day of rest the following of that. So, you know, you have to really, I don't think we could do 19.
We could, but
we could, but I don't want to go that far in one day.
Yeah, you're moving from the realm of, I don't know, somewhat enjoyable with a challenge to this is just treacherous, and I don't want to get into that headspace.
What if that was like your last day and you knew, I mean, you know, when we did Mount Olympus, it was know, it's hiking 8 hours up,
Yeah, that was
6
treacherous.
hours down the next day.
Didn't have a choice.
At least you know it's done. It's done in 2 days.
Yeah, that's true.
And so you can manage that amount of mileage, that amount of climb and hurt on your body, to just go and rest up for the day and get in the car, and you know, and you've recovered within, you know, a day or two.
Yeah, thinking that, like thinking about the Alberta case. So I wouldn't be surprised if early in the season it's more of your retired people or older people that are doing it, because they don't have to worry about summer, and they actually specifically stage it so they can kind of miss the big masses. So it could be that during the summertime, and like Americans right now are very strong supporters of the Camino, and so I can't not imagine that in the summertime when college people are off of school, that they're probably coming in big groups of people. Here's an Albuquerque out of nowhere. I mean, just outside of this little town.
I suspect that these questions and curiosities that we're having as we go along, the answers are probably out there. You know, that people have already answered these questions of
look at these.
You know,
guys. They got no
who
play.
is the population during the summer?
They're just.
I suspect it's young people. You know, why do they get up so early? Well, because they're, you know, any number of reasons.
Yeah, so the culture could be supported or established by that flood of folks that come as the season goes on. So you know, now we have a little bit more options because it isn't quite so busy, but to me, boy, it's still pretty busy. There's still tons of people, and accommodations are not like you gotta. It does seem like you really do have to make this reservation. I just see that you're going to get yourself into trouble if you go by the seat of your pants. You could do it by faith, but you know, be prepared to pay a little bit of money for taxi.
Yeah.
And taxis are probably not going to be cheap.
They're not cheap.
They're not cheap.
Don't think that they're 2 and 3 euros.
No, more like 20 just to get, you know, for a 10-15 minute drive down the road. That's,
the buses are cheap, but they're not all that convenient.
Not at all.
You know, sometimes you're waiting around, and you know, more than once.
Well, sometimes it's only.
We could have walked to.
Yeah, there's like one bus in the morning and one bus in the evening, and that's it. And that's really rough on trying to schedule that in your day. Okay, here we are. Terra Dios. Terra Dios. Well, got an orchard here. Kind of a nice little sign. They've got these little pieces of aluminum. Huh. Good idea. Huh. Let's see what he's made out of. Bike gears, bolts, motorcycle chain. Huh. That's pretty cool. He even gave you the inner guts of the fella. Got a little stainless steel. That's probably a light. Huh. Those are the Knights Templar. That's actually nice looking sculpture, you know. Piece of farm. Wow, that's really quite worthy of a lawnmower. Pair of pliers. It's fun. I love the fact that they put the guts, the guy's heart in his. This must says this is the halfway mark.
Yeah, half of
something like that.
Yep.
And we're in a small town. Well, it's good to see the numbers getting smaller.
I'm hoping they'll be.
Temperature feels like we're at about somewhere close to 50 degrees. Got a light breeze about 10 to 15 miles. Quite overcast.
Very overcast.
Quite overcast. Lots of electric power lines throughout the valley. people get their source power from someplace, so does tend to follow the valleys where the communities are. Well, you may be thinking we're kind of down on these alberques, but I want to give a shout out to the alberques.
That's
because
true.
you think about it, I don't think hotels, I think the amount of resources, the manpower that a hotel with all these people every day coming and going, these alberques serve an important function in making this whole thing possible.
That's very true.
I mean, think about it. Some of these towns, there's nothing there.
No,
the only thing is an
nothing
albergue, and that albergue is a lifeline to people who are on the Camino, and they have made
That's
it.
a very good point.
Yeah, so I really want to kind of give a positive shout out to, I mean, again,
It's not for everybody, but,
it's not for everybody.
He's so right. I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
I love that.
I had one of those epiphany
Yeah.
moments
It's a weird little sidetrack.
for the epiphany.
No, that
Yeah,
seems strange. Did I miss something?
it's prettier here for sure. I mean, you know, the thing about the farms, okay, I'm impressed with how much agriculture there is, a cultivation of the land, but you know, the thing that freaks me, you never see anybody out here working. Occasionally, I've probably seen 3 tractors, but you would think with this type of land, you would see massive amount of tractors everywhere and the land would really be worked, but it's quite amazing in that respect. It's like aliens come down here when everybody's asleep and they cultivate it for their planet. But anyway, that's the thing about the alberques. So I mean, it's a give and take. I mean, I suppose that the pilgrims that do take the journey are supporting the ability for these alberques to stay functional. If they weren't charging the money that they are, I don't think they could economically afford to keep it happening. I also see a lot of these people working at these alberques. They work a lot, so it's not I can't say it's not an easy job, just as much as the pilgrim might come in all puffed out. I think some of these people at these alberques have probably been there since 7 o'clock in the morning, and they're still there, you know, late in the evening. So in these smaller towns, they just don't have the manpower to have different groups of people come in and take it over. So at any rate, I have to kind of show my well, it's an organism almost.
Yeah, it's like
and
the arteries
yeah,
of the Camino, and they're the little worker cells.
Yeah, and the fact just like
to keep the blood moving along the path, you know.
And that there's enough resources available to support the amount of massive people that come and do this.
It brings a big
So,
part of the economy here.
Yeah, so it's clearly a symbiotic relationship that they provide. I mean, other countries would do well to note that this is a great resource, not only from the standpoint of green, like you're actually walking, you're not driving through a countryside, and you're carrying somewhat the minimum, although you may be using a baggage service. Everybody, seems like most people are doing the Camino, I would say, are using some type of a luggage service, which is also a great, what a good idea will transport your bags.
I even saw this morning a lot of people, you know, that if they're staying in bunk beds, a lot of the places, all they provide is the sheet on the mattress, so you must have your own sleeping bag, or
Yeah.
even if it's just a silk liner. And I saw some today that they were just having their sleeping bags transported. That's it, you know, just so that each night they had a sleeping bag to put on the bed. So, you know.
Yeah, the countryside. This is what, day 3 on the Masteca.
I think it's 4.
It's
the 4th.
it's kind of got a little bit greener, prettier.
Well, it was really pretty those first few days.
Yeah, the first few days.
Yesterday and the day before were a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, you can almost skip that if you're considering.
Thinking about maybe 15 years ago Raymond and I watched The Way, and so many people have been brought to this Camino, particularly Americans, by watching The Way with Martin Sheen and
Esteban.
Yeah, and on the surface, and I love the movie, and I really do think that it probably planted that seed that grew and grew until I just couldn't ignore it anymore and just had to do this. And on the surface, it's these 4 people that, you know, are kind of, you know, misfit along the way, don't know each other, and they come together and help each other along the way. And you see social things that happen and stuff. But I think deeper than that were these 4 people that each of them had something hard that life had laid on them and hurt them, or something that they had lost, or, you know, the writer had kind of lost his way with his voice and his authenticity. The Dutchman had, you know, had gained a lot of weight and was going through something with his marriage that you never really quite clear what that is, but he's going through something. The Martin Sheen character loses his son, who had been this very free spirit and had started to do the Camino and died. And then the woman had aborted her child because her husband was beating her. And these things that life lays on you, and they were really walking back to themselves. And I was talking about that yesterday. And I think that's really what touched me with that movie, of this rhythmic, long, continuous thing that forces you to go inward and to say, what do I want to set down? Who am I? What works for me? What do I not need anymore? And it's like a forced march back to yourself. And that was a really appealing thing to want to do. So anyway, that's it.
The Albuquerque let out. Look how pretty it is over there.
See, that's the stuff I like to avoid. I mean, they have their right to be here. I just don't want to be around it.
That's kind of a lovely landscape. It's funny how hilly just adds an element. You got windmills. These are just so, like, you just have these wildflowers growing right next to this field of hay that you just cut. Quite lovely. You know, I mean, here's another little Albuquerque. I mean, just quite amazing, you know. Well, somebody blocked out the yellow signs with the green. Yeah, I know, but I wonder.
Oh, maybe it's a mistake.
That's pretty idyllic. Just this lovely sea of green, waves and waves of green. God, you just never see the farmer out here. Just occasionally, but it's like they plow to put the seed in, and then they come back later.
You know, I do a little bit and I put it away. You know, the breeze is still a lot of time, like obsessing, compulsing over.
Well, you did pretty well. I mean, you're right about one thing. Boy, how the place we stayed at did have a contribution to the experience. That's a heck of a little reality. San Nicolas. Some people don't understand the tradition of the Albuquerques, and you have a girlfriend. She runs the Albuquerque.
She runs this burger, and she did 8 caminos over there.
She has done 8 Caminos
8
herself.
Caminos, so she
So
knows how
to run it.
or
the culture.
to behave and how to organize for the night.
Now this is a private albergue,
This is
and the private albergues take reservations on bookings,
Yes.
and they tend to fill up much quicker.
especially in let's say
May.
peak seasons like May or September.
Okay, is May peak season?
May is peak season.
May.
September is peak season.
Not June. May.
June may be the first half in June.
The first half, because why? Because it gets too hot.
Then it gets too hot. I'm talking about this part of the Camino, the mesetas.
In the mesetas, because it's plano, it's flat, and it's
flat,
hot.
and you have no let's say no woods forest, so no shade.
No shade. Okay.
And you're out in the sun for the duration of the whole stage.
But right now it's quite cold.
It is because we're
That's-
1,000 meter of
Elevation.
1,000 meters, 3,000 feet more or less.
Yes. Okay, so it's
It is.
yeah. So June, just because the meseta starts to get warmer,
Yeah.
this is the ideal time because I thought maybe it had to do more with pensiones, people who retire have the time, because when do the young people come?
All over the year, I would say. So
Oh,
the
like-
tendency is for spring and autumn
For the young.
for the like northern European people and people from the US as well.
Like us, yeah.
Yeah, and while over the summer we see more Italians and Spanish.
Oh, people from the south.
Yeah,
Who
because-
it's hotter in the south in those countries, to somewhat hotter.
But no, it's mainly because of traditionally they do have summer vacations in July and August.
Yes.
And well, like northern European countries, they do have the spring breaks,
Yeah. Like US.
like May holidays.
Yes.
Like last week, around the 8th of May, it's public holiday in the Netherlands and Germany.
8th of May.
Next week, 21st of May.
So that's why we're
is
saying Dutch and German.
Germans, yes.
Okay, now you're saying the strategy with the albergues.
What the burger is,
Now there's the municipal albergues,
Yes.
and then there's the private ones. This is the private one.
Yes.
Everybody goes through bookings.com and they pre-book it so that all the rooms are taken. And this particular albergue, they're 16 euros per night.
per night. Yeah.
But the strategy is that it's because you can pre-book, everybody pre-books, but the public albergues are more available.
Let me explain this.
Yeah.
The fact is that the public ones, they have different rules depending on the region they are located in.
Now the region does have to do with
In
the state,
Spain,
the province,
yeah.
the provincia.
Yeah. So here we are in the region of
Galicia.
Castilla y León.
Oh, Castile.
Yeah, we are in Castilla y León.
But it's two. Is it two? Why is it Castillo y León? It's Castillo and León?
Yeah, because you have
Dos provincias?
no, it's a region. Provincia is more like a county in the US.
Okay.
A region is
It's like a
union
state.
of more counties. It's
Okay,
a
so
state, yeah.
Galicio is the
It's the region.
like a county.
No,
A county?
Galicia is a region.
Oh, it is.
Like Castilla y León is a region. Then you have along the Camino you have Navarra.
Yeah, which is a
you have
province.
Rioja. No, they are regions.
Oh, they are. Now, what's the difference between a region and a province?
Province is smaller.
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 A region encompasses.
The region, is the union of more provinces.
Now, why are they a union? Do they have relationships from history?
History and
And culture?
Mainly these ones. Yeah.
Because they could be.
Like here, where we're staying right now, this is Castilla y León as a region. The province is Palencia.
Oh, okay.
Palencia with a P.
Palencia, not
Palencia is a
Plasencia.
small city.
Yeah, yo conozco.
Just 3 kilometers out of here, 2 miles from here. The Provincia de Palencia ends, and you get into Provincia de León.
Oh,
until
Leon.
and over. Yes.
Okay, so Castillo y Leon are referring to
Because-
two provinces
yeah.
close together because
Because
they're in
historically, this was a kingdom on its own.
Now, how do you ever tell me? How do you know so much about this?
Because I tend to read something, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So more
I
educated.
mean, the Spanish was divided into smaller kingdoms in the past.
Like
So-
the Moors, when the Moors
Yeah,
occupied,
just after, yeah.
and they tended to
Yeah.
be castle
Yeah.
countries where the Alhambra would control Granada, and that was the castle.
And you have the Arabs in the south. You had the reign of Castilla, the kingdom of Castilla.
Uh-huh.
You had in the kingdom of Navarra.
The Germans, what were the
Yeah.
Visigoths?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Many different tribes. Okay, so
here we
it's all
are.
still connected then.
So, yeah.
Historically,
Yeah. So every region has its own rules for municipals.
for which
For municipals.
Municipals.
For the hostels, public hostels. Like here in Castilla y León, the authority, the regional authority, allows the managers of these hostels,
Albergues,
albergues to accept reservations.
Some,
Not all of them.
and
but
only
some.
for some of the rooms.
Yeah, or I don't know if all the rooms or some of them. but
So it depends.
They can accept reservations. While in Galicia, Galicia is another region, and let's open another bracket. Is that in Spain, the regions have let's say, a big autonomy in decisions and in law making. Is
it
not as much as in the US?
like, would it be
for
similar?
these
You know how
states.
the Basque is its own unique culture, its own
Yeah.
language. Is it similar to that?
Not only they can have in some, let's say, matters.
But see, we
they
know-
can issue their own laws.
But see, we know, well, kind of like a state. It's like you've got
Like
the
a state.
federal government, and then you have the state government,
Yes.
and then you have the local municipal government.
Correct.
But the state government tells the municipal government these
How to behave, yeah.
How to behave. Okay.
So in Galicia, you cannot book public albergues.
Okay. Now
As
Galicia
pre-
again is a region.
It is a region,
and I think
and on the Camino
Yes, it-
Francés is from the Ocebreiro top all the way to Santiago.
Oh,
all
that's-
the
so-
last part of the Camino from Ocebreiro. From
Which- are
reach
we
the
in
top of
Ocebreiro now?
No.
The-
Here we are in San Nicolás del Real Camino.
San Nicolas de la
And
Camino
here we are just 7 kilometers,
from.
which is what, 4 miles, more or less?
Yes.
3.5
Well,
miles.
4 miles of it. Yeah, 3 miles, 6 miles. Yeah, about. Yeah.
Yeah, far from the midway of Camino.
Oh, so we're still 7 kilometers to the
Yeah,
midpoint.
to the midpoint.
Is it marked with a sign
Yeah.
that says you are at the
From-
mid
yeah,
for
right.
Frances?
4 kilometers from here, you see a small church in the countryside.
yeah.
With 2 pillars.
Uh-huh.
That is traditionally the halfway into the Camino. Midway.
Is it marked like with a
You
signal?
have 2 pillars, 2 old pillars,
And you
just
walk-
beside the road.
You walk
between
through the
them.
pillars, and that's okay. So
4
7
kilometers from here.
4 kilometers
Like a couple of kilometers after, you are in Sahagun city.
in
Sahagun.
Sangun. Okay, Sangun, the town, the village.
Town, village.
That's where we spend the night. So we will pass through the midpoint
pillars,
today.
midpoint, yeah. Then you still have, I think it's about 80 to 100 kilometers to Ocebreiro from here. And then in Ocebreiro, which is a top point of the mountain,
Oh.
you will climb. From there, you are in Galicia.
Oh,
So
which is the next region.
So let's go. So coming back to the albergues in
Yeah.
Galicia, you cannot reserve any bed.
So that's not we're not in Galicia yet. It's going to be after
Ocebreiro.
Casablanca,
Ocebreiro.
up at the top, and
Yeah.
then now you're in Galicia, and then it's a
You
different
cannot reserve.
because it's a public and they're supported by the
Yeah.
federal government, by the state government,
government, yes.
and the state government says this is the rules.
Yes.
But
So people in peak
Season,
that's what we
which
were
is
saying,
now.
they try and attempt to pre-book the private ones.
Because they're the only ones that take the reservations.
Yeah. So the private ones
Get filled up.
They fill up pretty quickly, and then you have the public ones. And because pilgrims, they're afraid not to find a bed, they are booking.
Even though
So
they can't even make it.
Less people, less pilgrims are using the public ones. So you you have higher chances to get accommodations in public ones when it's peak season, because everyone is going to the private ones.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because the problem with the public ones, they're all shared accommodations.
Yeah.
So that's you know, if you're young, whatever, if you want to save money, not so bad. But if you don't like that, if you it's too hard to get a good night's sleep. You can't sleep. It's noisy. People are snoring. You have to get up early.
It depends. It depends. Like us here, we do have 20 beds.
Yes.
It's officially it's a dorm, but we do have partitions
Between
upstairs. We do have like 4 rooms with partition not going all the way up to the roof. That's why we cannot call them officially rooms.
Because it's.
But you have partitions. We have
Nice.
one space with 6 beds, 2 with 4, and another one with 6. So it's 20 beds. But it's divided in 4.
And there's enough separation that gives you a sense of privacy, that it has the feel of.
Yeah, and
Now,
we've seen
but
here.
see, but you're private. You see, but now what about the public people?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that
Try to avoid
the
the
classic
class-
stages.
Now, what are the classic stages?
The ones that all the guidebooks or all the blogs or the
Like meaning that go from this city to this city to this city.
Sadia to Puerto Marin to the next one to the next one.
So the better strategy is to stay in the town just before or just after.
Just stagger it.
Stagger it just a little bit.
A bit more
Like-
before, a little bit after.
A little bit before, a little bit after. In the smaller albergues.
Especially the closer you get to Santiago, they say the closer
To Santiago.
the closer you get to Santiago, the closer the public albergues will be. Like every 4 or 5 kilometers, you will find one. So you can easily like stretch one stage. or
So because
shorten
you're not walking 6 hours. You could walk 3
3,
hours.
4, 5 hours.
Make us-
but, yeah, just avoid
The big tourist, the ones that everybody writes about.
Yes, okay.
Avoid those.
avoid those.
Yeah.
that's
Like for example, so we stayed in La Puente de la Reina. I didn't like it so much, but Obanos was a small town just before, very clean, nice and quiet.
Look
And
at
I
here.
said,
Look here. And the guidebooks they tell you to go to Sahagun. No.
yes, that's where that's right. That's where we're. But we
are
couldn't.
7 kilometers before.
But we couldn't find anything in between Sahagun
No, that's nothing. As public, no, there's nothing.
in the public ones.
Public ones, there's
But
no.
see, but the private ones book up too quick,
That is, but in Galicia,
which is the next region after Sahagun.
yes, after Leon.
After
We
Leon.
are still
Leon
60
is
kilometers before Leon.
okay. So once we get to Leon, what changes in Galicia again? The culture. How did the public albergues change? What
No,
happened?
it's still as they are now here. In Galicia, it's different.
Yes.
Galicia is different. You cannot book.
You can, okay, that's what it is. But you're saying you can book in the private albergues in this region that we're in now. But
And also the public.
the public and the private ones. Okay, so but in Galicia you cannot book in the public. It's so first come first serve, and that's why the pilgrims leave. Because I wondered why did they leave at 6:30, 7 o'clock so early in the morning?
Yeah.
Because first come first serve.
That's one, and two, they do not want to walk, let's say, with hot temperatures.
But
Especially if they are doing like long stages, like 35, 40. We've seen pilgrims coming here after 40 kilometers.
oh, yeah.
So if you have to walk 40 kilometers,
Yeah.
you try to avoid the hottest part
Now,
of the day.
is there any culture that the public albergues will leave a few rooms available for the person who just happens to show up late?
No, not
No.
that I know.
Okay, so-
And like for ourselves here,
Yes.
until last week, there was not this crowded.
Oh,
We were tending to leave 2, 3, 4 beds available for walking
For just
pilgrims.
but
But
not
these days we are
too booked.
2 books. We
And you
have,
can't.
we have
No
higher
need.
requests.
Close. So I think this is the end of, or we're entering Palencia, the county of El Camino de Santiago, Asunción por Plasencia. There's a boot. Here we are. Tú estoy aquí. Okay, this is where we're going to spend the night. Sahagun, Calzada de Coto.
So we're going to take this train.
Oh, we're gonna skip a train. We're gonna get in here. We're gonna take a train. Or we're gonna take the train in this and Sahagun.
Yes, and we're going to get off here. And then we're going to walk
El
to here.
Burgo Ranero
Walk from there to here.
to Mansilla de las Malas. I wonder if that's mules.
Mulas.
Mulas.
And then the next day we're in Leon.
I wonder if that's the mulas is in.
And then we
Oh,
take,
Leon is the
take a day off.
big city. Oh boy, look at this, man. This is us. Ay, ay, ay. And on we go. Let's see if we got. Oh, ay, ay. Is this?
Spit on. Let's go. We'll
Where's-
stay here.
Santiago. So even though this little looks like it's off, it's like a big triangle that you're taking off, so it seems like a little bit longer, and it is a little bit longer. But I think these are the 2 pillars that mark
Halfway mark.
the halfway mark. Yeah, this is the church that he said. So you really have to stay on.
It also gets you off the main highway. You don't.
It's on the main highway, but this is more important. It's that you want to hit this.
This is the actual trail.
Yeah, you want to hit the trail, and you also want to hit.
It just looks a little off.
You want to hit the midpoint. You want to hit these 2 little pillars, and that means you've gone halfway,
Yeah, and then it's going straight to our.
which is sort of funny, because I don't know. There's something. It's almost like life. You have this naivety at the beginning in Saint Jean Pierre de Port, like the adventure of life, and then the daily drudge. Oh, look at this, cute. And the daily trudge of the day in and the day out.
Halfway, we feel like
The day in and the day out drudgery of life. And you lose motivation, you get tired, you don't want to go, you want to quit. It's just like life, isn't it? And then you sort of settle into the experience, and well, hopefully by that point you actually will get your legs, and it feels like I've got my legs feel better. I mean, this is rather interesting. It's really a pilgrim's rest spot, a respite. Look at that. You could do a real good stretch your back on that. Yeah, this is almost a celebratory.
Yeah, that's cool.
So this is the midpoint.
Okay, I want to take a picture of you and you take a picture of me.
Yeah. Yeah, just think about it, all of that effort, and you're only halfway. Ay, ay, ay. Huh? Lovely little. Huh, king. See, that's probably how it used to be, God and country,
Geographical.
Okay, this is just the outskirts. I got a real bad feeling that that thing that says H-O-T-E-L, that's going to be our
Hotel.
I got a feeling that's our hotel.
Kind of a typical, looks like a typical kind of like La Quinta in the U.S. You know, your roadside Holiday Inn.
Well, they just had more accommodations. It's certainly a bigger town.
They did, but I'm telling you, it was very hard to find this. And like I was saying, tomorrow we even have to skip the whole section because we didn't find anything along the way after this.
Well, I bet you could go to those alberques,
Maybe. But then again, you're sleeping in, you know, and you got to decide if that's worth it to you.
yeah,
I don't want to sleep in that bed.
I don't want to
I
stay.
just really don't.
No, man, it's like you got barely the energy to talk to your spouse of 25 years without ripping each other's hair out.
I didn't want to share a bathroom last night.
I didn't either. I don't want.
Share with the entire floor.
Yeah, that's more intimacy than I want. Skid mark somebody else's.
Yeah, don't mess up.
The characters. I'm not sure the Asian guy there, but I'm sure they.
This is the way. This is the
Yeah.
way here.
Well, but that guy looks like a black man.
No, he's the
Yeah, but
the
look
Dutch.
at
He's
Yeah,
the
no,
Dutch
but they
guy,
made him
the
look.
woman, the Irishman, and
Well, it's odd that they're showing them with their sleeping things, but yet they're saying alberques. It's a mist tint. Huh, that's cool. Huh. Okay, this clearly looks like an American type of, like La Quinta. Almost like a La Quinta hotel. Buenas tardes. 33. Well, this is a little bit cleaner than I thought it would be. Yeah. Hola. Well, it's a lot of units, man. This is I wonder if she found a place here. This ain't no Jugendherberge. This ain't no albergue, that's for sure.
It just reminds me so much we'd stay for swim meets.
133 here.
Oh, 133? Pull it out. Should turn green like.
Oh,
Yeah, this is like totally like an American hotel.
that's totally fine.
Okay, great. Woo.
Got some room.
Yeah, this is